Red Guy is here and now, and we're going to be starting some games on the casual ladder with a team that was able to win a Japanese grassroots tournament that featured double restricted. We're going to be trying out this Zacian Koraidon team and seeing how well it can perform. This is a team that helped win the team tour for the Terra Run challenge that featured double restricted. And let us start getting into the breakdown. First, we have the Zacian with the Rusted Sword and Intrepid Sword that gives an attack boost for one time only during a battle, with a Terra normal type to help out against Calyx, Shadow Riders, Astral Barrage, and it features Behemoth Blade, Play Rough, Substitute, and Protect. Overall, Zacian does seem like a pretty strong Pokemon because it's able to do well extremely into the Miraidons, which are pretty common, Calyx Ice Rider, Terra Fairy on the Lunalas, and Calyx Shadow Riders that we've seen in the format. It's a pretty fast Pokemon too. It's a base 148, one of the fastest Pokemon out there that isn't usually the Calyx Shadow Rider, and it's just a really strong option with Substitute as an attack move, which can catch players off guard, but it's also really nice to help block intimidates from the Incineroar to get rid of that attack boost that it has and keep it around. While it already does a good amount of damage, you don't really need to set up Sword Sands because this team really is just about doing as much damage as possible, especially with the Xianpao Sword of Ruin. The EV spread otherwise is a pretty fast Zacian. This is able to outspeed Iron Bundle if it doesn't have a booster energy speed boost, and able to outspeed the base 135s, of course, Koraidon, Miraidon, Fluttermane, and the Xianpao and more. And just able to do as much damage as possible with the max attack investment, and then the rest going into bulk. For the second restricted, we have Koraidon with the Clear Amulet and its ability to set up the sun and give an attack boost alongside the Terra Fire for a really strong Flare Blitz, paired with Collision Course, a really good fighting type attack, and Scale Shot, which is interesting because we don't have loaded dice, which we commonly see to get the 4 or 5 hitter, but Scale Shot mainly as an option in order to be able to hit those dragon types. Like, again, since it's double restricted, we see more restricted, so like Koraidon and Miraidon is secondary restricted, so being able to actually hit those Pokemon for really heavy damage with Scale Shot with the same type of attack bonus as well as the attack boost you get from the sun, it's a pretty strong hitter, even if it only gets a 2-shotter, and can get knockouts if you get more. Clear Amulet prevents the Intimidate, of course, from Incineroar, the speed drops from Icy Wind and Electro Web and other speed control methods. It's a pretty good effective tool. And then this Koraidon is really about maximizing its bulk and its attack stab with pretty much max HP, as much attack as you can really get with an extra stat point, and then the rest just going to go into special defense and for remainder in defense and speed. You don't really need as much speed investment with Koraidon because you have the Scale Shot. You're utilizing the Scale Shot in order to outspeed Calyx Shadow Rider after a speed boost, and you also have other forms of speed control on this team, especially with the Thundurus Incarnate that can spread Thunder Waves that can help the Koraidon just outspeed. So you want to have Koraidon stick around on the field, be able to take attacks, because otherwise the team can be a little bit frail. So you do have pretty good speed tiers in your nature. Might as well just go for as much bulk and attack power as you can, so you can take attacks and then dish out the damage, while again you do have ways to build your speed advantage with Scale Shot speed rises as well as the Thunder Wave on the Thundurus. Next Pokemon we have is the Life Orb Walking Wake with Photosynthesis Speed Booster with Terra Water as its typing to boost up its Hydro Steam, as well as Draco Meteor, Snarl, and Protect as its move pool. Overall, Walking Wake, I think it's a lot better in this format, especially because you're going to see a lot more weather, especially with Kyogre, Groudon, and Koraidon being actually really good in the format. And Walking Wake is very helpful as it is a one mon that's really good at taking Surging Strikes from Rapid Strike or Shifu. And two, it actually does some pretty decent damage with the Hydro Steam that can threaten Pokemon like Incineroar, helps to pressure like Terra Fire, Koraidon, and it's able to hit for pretty good damage. Draco Meteor off this Walking Wake can allow it to pressure a Miraidon, especially with the sun up, and either force it to Terra Fairy, which means Zacian can hit it super effectively, or you just get the knockout. And Snarl really good into Shadow Rider, especially from a fast mon like this Walking Wake with that speed booster Photosynthesis to outspeed it. The EV spread's pretty simple, but you do run max speed, Timid Nature. You run 244 special attack because in order to run max speed with the Photosynthesis being a speed booster, you do actually need to have 244 or less in the special attack stat, and then the rest is just dumped into the remainder of bulk. Overall, the Walking Wake is just supposed to outspeed opponents and cause disruption with really strong Hydro Steams, a Draco Meteor that can do a lot of damage, and Snarl that can be very nice for the Calyx Shadow Rider. Next Pokemon we have is the Stellar Terra Xianpao with the Focus Sash and the Sword of Ruin. Pretty standard otherwise. Icicle Crash, Crunch, Sucker Punch, and Protect. Xianpao really likes to enable that Sword of Ruin for your really strong physical attacker restricteds to just be able to pick up one shots and do massive amounts of damage across the board. Xianpao with that Focus Sash so can stick around on the field. Stellar Terra type helps boost up its own attacks, which can be important for like Icicle Crash knockouts, for instance, into like Miraidon or the Koraidon, for instance, and more. You have the Crunch as well to be able to hit the ghost types, especially like the Shadow Rider Calyx, and threaten the Terra, and Sucker Punch, of course, for the priority. It's interesting not to see Ice Spinner on the Xianpao, but Icicle Crash does have a little bit more power, the flinch chance, of course, and it does have a way to avoid Rocky Helmet recoil from breaking the sash. So that, I assume, is probably the most important reason for having the Icicle Crash over Ice Spinner on this team. Otherwise, you could be able to get rid of Miraidon's Electric Terrain, which could be nice if you do want to go for a speed tie. But the Xianpao just playing with an adamant nature instead of the Jolly, just focusing on as much damage as possible with max attack and max speed. Next Pokemon we have is the Cornerstone Ogerpon with the Cornerstone Mask, the Sturdy, the Terra Rock type. Pretty standard Cornerstone Ogerpon. Ivy Cudgel, Power Whip, Follow Me, Spiky Shield. You want to have Pokemon that are able to pressure Incineroar because it does help out with the Zacian, and you want to be able to have Pokemon that can pressure fire types in general. The Zacian's unable to hit any fire types or Terra Fires really because of the fact that they resist the Behemoth Blade and the Play Rough, unless you're a Fire Dark type like Incineroar and Chi-Yu, but you would prefer to be able to one-shot those Pokemon. So Ivy Cudgel from Cornerstone can be a very nice factor. Cornerstone Ogerpon with Sturdy also just helps out so much, having that basically free Focus Sash to stick around on the field, which is incredible. It's also helpful against Kyogre because you can have a very powerful grass type attack with the Power Whip and dish out a lot of damage while having a Follow Me support mon that just is able to take at least one attack, usually guaranteed. It is a very good mon, and the speed tier, again, pretty nice because this team is pretty fast. Final Pokemon we have is the Citrus Berry Thundurus Incarnate with a Terra Steel and Prankster for its ability with Wall Bolt, Storm, Thunder Wave, Eerie Impulse, and Leer. I love this Thundurus set. It is a supportive Thundurus set. Thunder Wave is, of course, very disruptive and permanent speed control, basically. So once your opponent gets paralyzed, the Zacian and Koraidon will be able to outspeed a lot of what your opponent can handle throughout most of the game, which is perfect. It also has great support with the Eerie Impulse to reduce the special attack damage of Miraidon, as well as Calyx Shadow Rider, which can be crucial. Leer is a fantastic tech because Leer not only enables the offensive capabilities of the Zacian, Koraidon, Xianpao, Ogerpon for more damage with your physical attacks, but also the factor is Leer also will lower your opponent's physical defense, but that is really important into Zamazenta, which is a very common Pokemon in this format, and reduces the power of Body Press, which means you can fire off multiple attacks into the Zamazenta's partner while lowering its defense, and then you strike when you need to. So it is a really cool tech I love to see here, and you pretty much just want to capitalize on bulk. This Thundurus is just pretty much max HP, a good amount of special defense with an extra stat point from the Calm Nature, 156 special defense, and then the rest going to defense, because this Thundurus is just sticking around on the field, getting paralysis, sticking around, going for Eerie Impulse to reduce the special attack, and the Leer, which is helpful. And Citrus Berry, of course, very nice for Thundurus to be able to take multiple hits, and it is just disrupting your opponent's strategies. Overall, with this team, you do have quite a bit that you can do with this team. Most of it is going to be utilizing your offense with Zacian, Koraidon, Walking Wake, Xianpao, Ogerpon that can do a ton of damage, and they're all pretty naturally fast Pokemon in the format. With the Scale Shot on Koraidon, you want to try to set it up. You could just go for really strong damage with a Xianpao next to a partner. Ogerpon, Follow Me redirection is incredible as a lead because it can allow you to set up a substitute with Zacian. Go for a Scale Shot with Koraidon to boost its speed, or you can even leave with Thundurus, which is a fantastic lead to slow things down, set up Thunder Waves so the rest of your Pokemon outspeed in the future turns, or take less damage with the Eerie Impulse, or you go for that Leer for that setup for the knockouts, and be really incredible tools. Xianpao, of course, offensive immediately. You have the Sun mode, you could just leave with Koraidon, Walking Wake. Restricted wise, you can just go straight for damage. You have a lot of different ways you could just dish out a ton of damage utilizing the fast Pokemon you do have. If you'd like to check out the details of the team, the creator, and the team report, they'll be linked in the description down below. Koraidon, Xianpao, Brubonnet, Raging Bolt, Zacian, and Volcarona. Okay. Let's see. I do like the Zacian, but there is Volcarona's Sun, which makes it a little bit tricky. We do have Cornerstone Ogerpon though that does force a Terra, which is actually pretty good against the team. Scale Shot though on... I think I really like Scale Shot on Koraidon. Unfortunately for Clear Amulet, which does hurt a little bit. There's a lot I could go here. I like Cornerstone plus Koraidon or Cornerstone plus Zacian works. Xianpao is looking pretty good against my opponent's team. Although we don't have Sacred Sword. We have Crunch, which makes it a lot weaker. Although Ice coverage is fantastic. I do like Cornerstone Ogerpon a lot here though. I think Cornerstone Ogerpon plus... I like Koraidon lead. I think it's just really strong. Yeah, I would say it's really strong here. And then back-wise, I do want Zacian. The question is, am I bring Thundurus or am I bring Wake? Thunder seems really good. Thunder Wave, of course, is just really strong. Eerie Impulse is also a pretty good factor. I think I'm going to bring Thundurus. Although Walking Away could have definitely put in work because Hydro Steam against Volcarona against Terrafire Koraidon looks really strong too. I don't know. I like the idea of Thunder Wave because it just disrupts a lot of like potential speed with Flame Charge. Where if they try to set up against my Cornerstone Ogerpon, I can punish it. Lead wise, Volcarona Raging Bolt. Okay, interesting lead. Against my Cornerstone Ogerpon and the Koraidon. I think... Are they gonna Terra the Raging Bolt? I want to say no. I really like the idea of going for Ivy Cudgel plus... Well, hold on. How fast is my Koraidon? Am I faster than Volcarona? Although I don't think they would be max speed. Could be a bit risky. I don't think it's timid Volcarona. I think it's probably going to be bulky. I really like the idea of going for Ivy Cudgel Scale Shot though, because I think I get so much momentum if I get the KO here into the Raging Bolt. I think I'm going to go for it too. Volcarona protects? Beautiful. Beautiful. They were scared of Ivy Cudgel. They didn't want to Terra immediately. So I'm able to get Ivy Cudgel off into the Raging Bolt. Beautiful. And I should get the knockout because I didn't think they were going to Terra Fairy. And I get a +1 speed. Oh, man. That is such a that is literally the perfect turn one I could have asked for. Now the Volcarona is directed by Ivy Cudgel. The Koraidon is fast now and can threaten some very, very powerful attacks off against my opponent. Scale Shot is also being pretty beneficial here. So yeah, like this is looking really good. This should be Koraidon on my opponent's side. I don't know who you go into. You can't... If you go Zacian, you just get Flare Blitzed. Interesting. Okay. I mean, I think I just double into the Volcarona slot with Terrafire Flare Blitz plus Ivy Cudgel. I don't know if the Zacian Terras or not, so I want to see it. But yeah, I'm going to go for the Terrafire Flare Blitz plus Ivy Cudgel into Volcarona because I think I should be getting knockout into Volcarona no matter what the Volcarona said, unless it's like max defense Citrus Berry, which maybe it can take the Flare Blitz into Ivy Cudgel. But I don't want to waste time going for Follow Me here when I have a good offensive position. And I know the Zacian can't pick up a knockout into either of my Pokemon unless they go for Terra Ground, Terra Blast, or some Terra reading my Koraidon to Terra and go for the attack. Which would be a pretty strong play, but even if they do that, like, I still think I have outs. So we will go for the Terra Fire here. We do see a Terra, like one of these had to Terra. They're in a really bad defensive position. Let's see who it is. Is it going to be Zacian? Yep. Okay, perfect. Terra Water. I almost thought about going for Power Up, but I felt like it was never worth the risk here. So Terra Water is fine. As we get the Flare Blitz off into Volcarona, that should pick up the knockout into Volcarona. Rocky Helmet, though, and Recoil might add up, but Volcarona goes down. Beautiful. And now the Ivy Cudgel is redirected into the Zacian. We always get that Ivy Cudgel off into Zacian. We do take a decent amount of recoil. Player going to come out into the Koraidon, but not a critical hit, so we are able to survive. Ivy Cudgel will come out into the Zacian, and ooh, we get a critical hit of our own, which is helpful. I don't think it changes any of our calcs currently, but I think this is fantastic. Koraidon comes in. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about our position. I'm just gonna IB cudgel the Zacian, and I think I'm just gonna go for a scale shot into Koraidon, because I'm pretty sure Thundurus plus my own Zacian should guarantee to win. Well, I guess we have to hit a move eventually, right? I don't want to play super passive because I feel like that gives my opponent an opening. So I'm just gonna go for attacks right here. Gonna go for scale shot. We land 3, which is beautiful because we had clear amulet. We weren't guaranteed to get a hit off with scale shot for the 3 hits, but that's amazing. We're able to knock a Koraidon. We guarantee to win. I don't want to play passive there because if I play passive, that gives my opponent an opportunity to set up with Pokemon, which then they could reverse sweep me potentially, especially if I miss Thunder Wave. Like, that was the thing. I had to land a scale shot or Thunder Wave in a Koraidon, and probably a play rough too. So there were just so many moves that I had to connect where it just makes more sense for me to play more aggressively there. So I'm able to get the Ivy Cudgel on the Zacian, because to knock out the Ogerpon, you had to have like loaded dice scale shots or some kind of crazy nature, and then I can go for like Thunder Wave plus Behemoth Blade and I should wrap it up. But yeah, there's just like a lot of things that had to go wrong there, I think, for me, and I think playing aggressive gave me like the least odds of something going wrong happening. Just had to go for a scale shot. Even if I hit 2, I think it's okay, because again, I can actually Behemoth Blade, but I will probably have to land a Thunder Wave and a Koraidon to win. Zamazenta, Incineroar, Screamtail, Rillaboom, Ogerpon, Heartflame, and Calyx Shadow Rider. Okay. Looks pretty standard for the most part. I'm trying to figure out how I want to approach this. Thundurus looks really annoying for them. Thunder Wave is just really good into Booster Energy. Screamtail. Yeah, I think it's really good here, so I am going to bring the Thundurus. I'm going to bring Cornerstone. It does hit the fire types pretty well, but I don't think I need it otherwise. How's looking pretty good with Crunch to threaten the Calyx, especially with Sucker Punch. I do want to bring Zacian 100%. Zacian seems really good. Walking Wake actually seems decent here too. There's so much I could bring, huh? I think they're gonna lead Koraidon, I guess, is a, or not Koraidon, Zamazenta is a good question. Definitely could. I think my best lead would probably be like Thundurus, Koraidon, or maybe Koraidon. Koraidon Walking Wake isn't bad either. I think I'm gonna do Koraidon plus Thundurus with Walking Wake and Zacian in the back. A lot of this goal is just to dish out a ton of damage, right? So that's the main goal. If they Terra Dragon the Zamazenta, which is probably the most common Terra type, then we can hit it with a Draco Meteor from our Walking Wake. We have Hydro Steam for the Incineroar, does some pretty good damage in the sun to like Ogerpon Heartflame. Snarl for the Shadow Rider is actually really good because it might catch them a bit off guard. So let's see what we're going to be matching here with. A lot of this is putting on pressure with Koraidon. Thundurus they have to be respectful of, because if they let me Thunder Wave their team, not really that great for them. So we're gonna see Calyx and Incineroar, which is not like a surprising lead at all here. Okay, versus my Koraidon and my Thundurus. I think that this is a pretty simple execution here. Just going for the Terrifier with Koraidon. I'll go for the Scale Shot, and I'm just gonna go for a Eerie Impulse into the Calyx, so it doesn't do that much damage. I could Thunder Wave immediately, but I could always Thunder Wave the next turn, so I don't even think it's too bad. I'm just going to go for an Eerie Impulse into the Calyx, and I'm going to go for a Terrifier Scale Shot into the Calyx. If they go for Protect and Knock Off or Parting Shot, that's okay. That's not like that bad. I think the only thing that would be awful would be if the Incineroar has Taunt on this team and the Calyx goes for Protect, I suppose. That would probably be the worst case, but let us see here. I do really like the Eerie Impulse because it just slows down what the Calyx can do. There's no Terra on my opponent's side. Okay. As we will Terra our Koraidon. I'm not really too worried about Incineroar. I'm more worried about the Calyx. So slowing that down is going to be a crucial game plan. Let's see what they can do. Terrifier. Think I'm going to come out of Koraidon? Okay, so I will get an Eerie Impulse off into the Calyx, which is pretty beautiful. All right, so Calyx can't really do much here. Nice. Astral Barrage. But we should be taking this extremely well because -2 special attack. You gotta be kidding me. You've gotta be kidding me. All right. I'm gonna Thunder Wave the Calyx. I'm just gonna Collision Course the Incineroar. Ah, that's so silly, man. That's just so silly. Like, there is a reason I went for Eerie Impulse. What was the point of me going for that? And as we saw by the crit damage, after an Eerie Impulse, it was doing no damage. So We'll go for Thunder Wave because Calyx might switch out fearing the Flare Blitz. We are going to see the switch into Screamtail. So getting a Thunder Wave into Screamtail is perfect. Makes the Encore disable a lot less threatening when it's paralyzed. And ideally we KO the Incineroar here, but it looks like we're going to see a Terra from Incineroar, so unfortunate here. Okay, but we did force them to use their Terra. They can't Terra anymore, which is kind of nice, but I don't know. This still isn't the ideal situation, I think. As we will Thunder Wave to Screamtail. So now that Pokemon's paralyzed, and what are you doing here? Collision Course gonna fail. Knockoff, okay. Yeah, obviously we could have had a much better turn, but we will try to play around this if possible. I'm trying to think of whether I go, probably Zacian here makes the most sense. Yeah, I'm gonna go Zacian. I'm going to go Zacian and click Leer into my opponents. I'm going to click Leer, Behemoth Blade, and hope that KOs the Incineroar, because I kind of think my only way to knock out Incineroar is through that combo. So I'm going to go for Leer, and I'm going to go for Behemoth Blade. Let's see, because I really need that damage into the Incineroar. They switch down to Zamazenta. At least they're taking a -1 defense, which matters a lot for body press calcs in the future, and I could maybe set up a substitute with Zacian. But I really like, if I think they're going to hard switch, I could substitute, but I just don't want them party shotting my Zacian. I think that would be worst case. I think I'd rather go for the Leer and hope that they think I get greedy, maybe like a Saurus Dance, go for a parting shot, because if Screamtail gets paralyzed on an Encore, that's really bad for them. So let's see. Let's see. I really hope I can go for Leer into the Incineroar as well, because it's no longer a dark type because it Terra. So I can actually hit it with a Prankster Leer, and then Behemoth Blade hopefully gets the KO here, which would be massive. Nice. Okay, so at least we get rid of Incineroar. We do take Rocky Helmet damage, which is not good, but definitely acceptable. Goodbye, Incineroar. Their Terra Ghostmon is gone. Pretty good, pretty good. They Encore my Thundurus. Ah, that's not as good. Okay. Granted, I don't think this is bad, but it's not good. So this is Calyx going to come back in. Yep. Ah, this might be bad. Astral Barrage is definitely going to hurt. But I am going to go for... I don't think I could... Can I swap here? They're always going to attack, I assume, with the Calyx. How many turns of Sun do I have left? I have 2 turns of Sunlight. Ooh, this is actually really bad. I think I have to hope that Screamtail gets paralyzed. I think I'm going to go Walking Wake, and I'm just going to Behemoth Blade the... Actually, maybe I could Behemoth Blade the Screamtail? No, I need to hit the Calyx. I think I gotta hope that Screamtail gets paralyzed, because I'm trying to think of like, okay, what's my line here? I need to go out in a Walking Wake, because if I don't, Thundurus is gonna take a lot of damage. Locked into Leer is not helping me against this team. So I think I need to break a Focus Sash on the Calyx. If they protect, this is completely fine. Wait, no, that's actually really good for me, because they used to protect here. Okay. Behemoth Blade gonna go into the protect. What's Screamtail doing? Encore? Disable. Okay. That's really good for me, actually, because they used their Terra before. I can go for a Snarl, and I can go for a Play Rough into the Calyx. Snarl, we have Speed Boost on the Walking Wake. The thing I was worried about, where if I didn't switch in Wake, is I would have been stuck with Zacian and Walking Wake, assuming Thundurus went down, because I'm scared of switching into Walking Wake. And then I wouldn't have been able to have the Sunlight, because they would be able to stall out with Protect. So I felt like, okay, I have to go, unfortunately, hard into Walking Wake. But the fact that they went for Disable ends up really working out, because I get a Snarl off into Calyx. I lower that special attack, which is super big. And that's going to allow my Zacian to take the Astral Barrage better here. Okay. Astral Barrage. Yeah, I take that extremely well. And we get Play Rough. Beautiful. All right, Calyx goes down. Screamtail, Dazzling Gleam might miss the KO here. Dazzling Gleam comes out. All right, beautiful. sunlight fades, but I think that this is the perfect scenario here. Walking Wake's photosynthesis is over, but at this point I'm looking pretty good here. They do have booster energy, but that shouldn't affect it because I already got the paralysis on them earlier. Okay. So Zamazenta gonna come in, which is... it's shaky, but still manageable. I'm kind of curious if they body press or not this turn. I have one more turn to disable, right? Or no, I have a few turns to disable, actually. Huh. This might get a bit weird. I think my best play is to switch out the Walking Wake into Thundurus. I go for Substitute. Substitute might be the best play here. It would be bad if they Encore though, so I think I have to Protect. Yeah, like they could. I think they body press in the Dazzling Gleam here anyway, so I think Thundurus gets in for free, but we'll see. I guess they could be scared of Flamethrower if I have it on the Walking Wake, but they saw Snarl, so I don't think it's likely that they expect Flamethrower. But they do body press into Thundurus, which is okay because Thundurus eats that up. And now what's more important is I can go for Leer strat. So I can go for Leer plus Play Rough now. And that's going to be a big impactor here. Dazzling Gleam? Okay, that's fine. So I could have got a free substitute up, which is a bit unfortunate, but I don't think this is that bad because I can reduce the damage of that Zamazenta now with the Leer while setting up a more offensive position with Play Rough. I'm going to play with the Screamtail always. Zamazenta Protect is incredible actually because I do get the Leer into Play Rough here into the Screamtail. I don't know if this will knock out the Screamtail. We're +1, they're -1 defense, but if I do get this Play Rough KO into Screamtail, it's massive, but I also don't know what Screamtail does. I guess they could go for Disable and a Thundurus. Ooh, I KO'd the Screamtail too. I did not think I would get the knockout because Screamtail's bulky, but you know what? Leer Thundurus is doing work here. It is doing massive work. I'm going to Leer and I'm going to go for Protect. Actually, no, I'm going to substitute here. Because Zacian is always faster than the Zamazenta. If they go for a body press into Thundurus, then it's fine. And if they go for a Zamazenta, that also works too. Because as long as I'm reducing the damage that the Zamazenta can provide, I think it's massive. And I could get a stronger hit with Play Rough with the Leer this turn. Although maybe I could have lived the body press because I got the defense drop. It's not really worth the risk, I think. So I'm going to go for Leer again. I think it's okay to click Play Rough here. Nah, actually, no. I always Protect here. There's no reason to. Unless they have Iron Defense, I'm in a good spot. Because they should not be able to knock out Thundurus even for critical hit. So I can just keep stacking the Leers onto the Zamazenta, lower the body press damage. So it just can't really do that much. Like, it's not going to be able to hit Thundurus, which is massive. So I just keep spamming this Leer tech into Zamazenta. So I will go for Leer again and go for a Play Rough into the Zamazenta. Maybe KO it. Battle going to be forfeited. Oh, that turn one was so bad, man. It was so bad. But Leer Thundurus coming in clutch for the KOs. Like, allowed me to KO the Incineroar. Allowed me to lower the damage output of the Zamazenta. Like, it was massive. It was absolutely incredible there. Groudon, Raging Bolt, Ogerpon, Heartflame, Lunala, Amoonguss, Incineroar. Okay, standard Lunadon team. This has been pretty common. At least I would say builds-wise. I don't really know too much, again, about the format. I've only recently started playing, so... I've seen the 6 before on a few different streams. How do I want to approach this? Shein-Pao forces Terras, which is good. Walking Wake is fantastic against Groudon. Like, Hydro seems really good here. So I think I will be bringing Walking Wake 100%. And Snarl for Lunala is actually pretty incredible. So I'm going to bring... I think Walking Wake Thundurus is actually not a bad lead. And I do kind of like it. I might bring Zacian into this because bring Zacian against Lunadon is concerning, man. It is concerning. I think I'd rather bring Ogerpon Cornerstone so I can have a way to redirect against the Amoonguss. And I think I bring Koraidon. Man, it's tough not being able to bring Zacian though. But I think it is the right call not to bring it. What do I expect from my opponent? I definitely expect Lunala. I expect Lunala Groudon. And then the other two, they could bring any combination. I think it's really flexible against my team. So we'll see. Like, I think a Redirect Mon is pretty good. Fake Out support from Instants, of course, really nice. We'll find out. Lunala and Incineroar. Okay, that's fine. Versus Walking Wake and the Thundurus. I don't know what they're gonna click here. They might be scared of Cobra Cloak on the Thundurus. I am just gonna go for a Snarl into the Lunala, and I am just gonna go for an Eerie Impulse immediately into the Lunala slot because I want to reduce the damage that Lunala could possibly do to my team. We're gonna see Fake Out go out into the Thundurus, which is fine as I do get a Snarl off. I break Shadow Shield, which is the important part, so getting rid of Shadow Shield on the Lunala is pretty massive. I could have Hydro Steamed the Incineroar. That would have been pretty good too, but I think I don't want to let a free switch to another restricted come in like Groudon, and the damage I think would start really racking up, so I don't want that happening. I need to stall out Trick Room turns. I think I'm just going to fire off a Hydro Steam and I'm just going to click Eerie Impulse in the meantime. They might Parting Shot here, they might knock off, but I think they're all acceptable answers because we are lowering the special attack of the Lunala immensely, so they can't really do too much damage here. They go for knockoff in the Walking Wake actually, which is actually pretty good because I will be able to get a Hydro Steam hopefully here. Meteor Beam going to come out probably in a Thundurus, but Lunala -2 because Eerie Impulse, Snarl, and then +1 for Meteor Beam shouldn't knock out either of my Pokemon. So we will see a Meteor Beam come out into the Thundurus, and that activates my Citrus Berry, so knockoff is also doing less damage too, which is really good. Okay, nice. And we will go for the Eerie Impulse into the... Well, we went for the Eerie Impulse. We get a Hydro Steam off an Incineroar. Pretty good damage. Pretty good damage. I'll gladly take that. I don't know if they're going to double in the Walking Wake or not, but I am going to go for a... I'm going to attempt to get a Wall Bolt Storm off and protect the Walking Wake here. I'm expecting the Lunala to retreat maybe into Groudon, or they double up into the Walking Wake. I guess they could double up into Thundurus, but I think that's really likely to KO. Unless they have Flare Blitz. If this is Flare Blitz instant, then it's actually going to be a bit concerning, but we'll find out. I'm hoping to get a Wall Bolt Storm KO on the instant if they don't Parting Shot, or if they Parting Shot out the Wake, which would be really good, but we'll see. But yeah, I've been playing aggressive. There was also another play I had in mind, which was Thunder Wave my own Wake and hope that it underspeeds these Pokemon, but I don't think that's the case. They actually stay in with Lunala, which is good for me, so I'll take it. As we will see a knockoff go on the Walking Wake. Is this what I expected, which is to double up into the Wake slot, as knockoff did go into the Wake? Yeah, I feel like that play only makes sense if you're doubling up trying to KO. And yep, I've been playing aggressive, and now I finally go on to defensive, which is really good for me. I get a Wall Bolt Storm off. I get the KO on instant, more damage on Lunala. Trick Room is getting stalled out. Looking like a beautiful situation right here. So Incineroar goes down. Excellent. Unfortunately, we're still going to have to deal with some of the demons, like the Groudon coming in. Yep, Groudon's coming in. All right. I think I always want to keep Wake alive because Wake is one of my best answers to hit this. So I think I'm going to switch out here into my Cornerstone, which I think is like the most sackable mon here. And I'm just going to go for a... What am I doing with you? Am I clicking Wall Bolt Storm or am I clicking Eerie Impulse? I think I'm clicking Eerie Impulse. Yeah. Because if Raging Bolt switches in, I think that's like the worst case. So I think I'd rather get an Eerie Impulse, even if they switch out the Lunala, which they have just been refusing to switch out. So I'm shocked, but this works out. Getting Cornerstone. As we get an Eerie Impulse. Beautiful. I guess I could scout if this is Clear Amulet on the Groudon or not. Moongeist Beam going to be fired off. Is this in the Thundurus? It should be like Precipice Blades coming out then. Yeah, it's Moongeist Beam in the Thundurus. Does absolutely nothing. Yeah, Precipice Blades. Okay, that's fine. Does connect, which is cool. All right, I'm just going to go for a Spiky Shield with my Ogerpon Cornerstone, and I am just going to go for a Wild Bolt Storm here, because I am just trying to take the knockout into Lunala. Once this Trick Room is over, they are going to finally retreat the Lunala and bring out whatever they have as the last. It's going to be Ogerpon, which is fine. Okay. I mean, it's still a bit of a scary endgame, but I'm pretty sure I'm in a good spot coming up. Good bulk up on their part. Okay, so bulk up Groudon revealed here. It should be Clear Amulet then. As we go for Wild Bolt. If we get the Para, that'd actually be really nice. No Para. Twisted Dimensions return to normal. The only thing is I do have to get rid of Cornerstone Ogerpon before I have a chance to win. I always Ivy Cudgel the Cornerstone, even if it's Spiky Shields, because the power damage into Groudon doesn't do anything, I think, for my endgame plan. I think I Ivy Cudgel the Ogre Pond. The question is, what am I doing for you? Am I covering switches or Terras? Because I don't want to switch into Blades with these Pokemon. That's a problem. Although Thundurus could have some value, I suppose. This is tricky because the Groudon's actually still pretty annoying. I'm going to go for Wall Bolt. No Protect is amazing for me. Okay, so I do get the Ivy Cudgel off into the Ogre Pond, which is able to pick up the knockout. Okay. That's really good. Wall Bolt Storm is going to fail into the Groudon, which is fine. As they go for Heat Crash because they don't want to miss. They target the Ogre Pond. All right. Okay, I think they played a bit greedy with the Ogre Pond. That works out amazingly well. Or they were scared of me going for like double up into Groudon or something, but that works out huge for me. I can go out into Walking Wake, or I can go into Koraidon. I think I always go Koraidon, and I go for Flare Blitz. Yeah. Lunala comes in. My play should always be to Leer and Flare Blitz here, because that should always KO the Lunala. Wait, we haven't seen Terra actually at all in this game. I don't think you're going to Terra Water the Lunala though, because if you Terra Water the Lunala, I don't think you ever Terra Water the Lunala. The Groudon I could definitely see. The Lunala not so much. I'm going to go for Leer Flare Blitz. Because the thing is, I could Wall Bolt Storm Flare Blitz and cover the Terra on the Lunala, so that's why I don't think Lunala ever Terras. I think the Groudon's more likely to Terra in the end game, but we'll see. All right, they don't Terra, which is beautiful. I get a Leer off into Lunala, which is all I need here. I guess the Leer doesn't show off into the Groudon because I thought the text would happen, but it looks like it didn't happen. So I do get the Flare Blitz KO into the Lunala. Massive. And Precipice Blades. Okay, perfect. The thing is, Thundurus can't do anything. Ooh, that's a nice miss. That's a nice miss. It wasn't KOing Koraidon. As long as I get damage into Groudon, that's all I need. That's all I need. Last turn of Sun. We go for a Collision Course, and we go for... I'm gonna Leer, I guess. There's nothing that Thundurus does. I just have to wait for my Wake to come in. I guess I should have probably checked... Ooh, no, I think this is the right play, because Terrafire... No, Terrafire is definitely a throw here from the Koraidon anyway. I would never Terrafire Koraidon in this position. Maybe I could go for a Flare Blitz last ditch if the Blades hit the last turn, but like there's no reason for me to Terra this time. I don't know why they Terra the Groudon here. I guess they're worried about the Flare Blitz damage, but I don't think it's doing that much where you have to Terrafire, but I'll take it. Now they can actually be hit by the Thundurus. I didn't have a move to hit the Groudon with Thundurus. Now I actually have a move that can hit the Thundurus. So I guess I should have Wall Bolt Storm to cover it, but like, yeah, okay. Leer, Collision Course. There's literally nothing the Thundurus could do, so like that's why. I guess I should always Wall Bolt Storm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Hydro Steam would have KO'd the Groudon anyway. Precipice Blade's gonna come out once again. Yeah, I wasn't KOing Koraidon without a crit, so I was in a beautiful spot. And now, yeah, I had Terra Water on the Wake, so like I always Terra the Wake in the end game anyway, so that's what I expected. Okay, now I guarantee win. Even if I miss every single Wall Bolt Storm, I have a Walking Wake with Terra Water, Hydro Steam to knock out the Groudon. So that was what I was setting for the end game. Like that's what I like. I was making sure I didn't toss because I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm Terra Water Wake on this team. But yes, we were able to take the things around. That's why I think not going for a Spike Shield with Ogre Pond was kind of a big misplay, because I think they would have had a lot better of a chance. I think I definitely could have still won if I was, as long as I was able to get rid of Ogre Pond and prevent Trick Room, so we could get a Hydro Steam off. That was basically the goal there. But they gave it to me a lot easier than I thought. Maybe they thought like the Spike is just so obvious that it wasn't worth going for. But yeah, losing that resource was just massive. All right, we have Calyx, Ice Rider, Miraidon, Entity Female, Torkoal, Hisuian Lilligant, and Brute Bonnet. All right, a Sunroom team with Miraidon. Double terrain is kind of interesting here. All right, how do I want to approach this one? I do like Zacian a lot in this matchup, but of course there is the Torkoal, and yeah, that Torkoal is a big problem. Big problem for Zacian. I am Terra Normal, which doesn't help out here, unfortunately, which kind of stinks, but let's see what we can do here. So I could lead like a Chien Pal plus Zacian, which is pretty decent, except into Torkoal Lilligant. I think Cornerstone Ogre Pond is my safest lead here. Yes, it is. I might bring them. I'm just trying to figure out if I bring my Koraidon. I think I probably do. Trying to think here because I do want to bring Cornerstone Ogerpon. I think Pal is probably left on the bench, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I guess it'll have to do. Yeah, I'm gonna bring Zacian plus the Cornerstone Ogerpon. Think Walking Wake in the back because I need an Eruption switch, and I guess it has to be Koraidon. I can't really see what else I would bring. Yeah, let's try it out. I mean, I guess I could technically have brought the Xianpao. Xianpao might have done something, especially... Well, the thing is, my Xianpao's not Spinner. It is Crash. So I can't get rid of Terrain. I could Crunch, but I don't really know how much that really benefits me as a back because I'm not leading it against a potential Torkoal Lilligant. We're going to see Entity Calyx, which is fine. As we do lead the Zacian plus the Cornerstone Ogerpon, which is okay here. I don't know if they... I mean, I think this should just be Follow Me Trick Room. That's what I would always assume here. I'm debating about going for an Ivy Cudgel Sword Stance play here, and I think that is pretty good unless they do go for a Trick Room Glacial Lance, but that does leave the Cali Ice vulnerable. It also leaves Entity vulnerable where they don't get a Trick Room up if I do get the KO here. I definitely Ivy Cudgel the Entity. I could substitute here, which isn't a bad play because it helps me stall out Trick Room turns. Yeah, I think I'm going to substitute. Calyx is going to protect. Okay, so this is protect Trick Room. That's risky because if I did Behemoth Blade double into the Entity, they were still in a rough spot, but I think this works out for me. So I am able to get a substitute up as we will go for the Ivy Cudgel into the Entity. Yeah, that's a good amount of damage. Trick Room goes up. I am pretty happy about that. Okay. I would like to see if the Cali Ice Terras this turn or not. So I think I am going to go for a double Spiky Shield. Spiky Shield Protect. Or do I attack? Because I'm a bit worried if they decide, hey, I'm going to switch out the Entity this turn. But I want to scout for the Terra on Cali Ice because I feel like Cali Ice does Terra here. I think I'm just going to double protect and scout. There's like a bit of a mind game between me attacking the Entity slot with Ivy Cudgel, them switching out into like maybe a more offensive threat like Torkoal. Terra wise, I want to figure out the Cali Ice if it's like Terra Water or something. Probably Terra Fire, but no Terra is surprising. I could have just got a big knockout. Let's see. All right, that's one turn of Trick Room gone, unless they double reverse Trick Room, which that would be a great play by them, but I don't expect it. Okay, they just follow me, which is what I expect. Okay, beautiful. Glacial Lance. High horsepower. Interesting. I guess they don't expect Glacial Lance to KO my substitute, which I think it should. But I guess if they think I'm a bulky Zacian, maybe I could. But yeah, I'm just going to Ivy Cudgel the Entity, and actually I'm going to just double up the Cali slot with Ivy Cudgel plus Behemoth Blade because they should just follow me. But if they don't follow me, I still get Behemoth Blade off. They are going to finally go for their Terra, which makes sense here, okay? Gonna be Terra into Fire. That does make sense. Okay. They saved a Terra. So Behemoth Blade's still the best call. I do get the Terra out of my opponent. They do go for Follow Me. That means I don't lose a slot here, which is actually kind of nice. Okay. They do Glacial Lance this time, and this is gonna break my sub, which is a bit unfortunate here, but acceptable. Trying to think of who I want as the last two. I think I always win with Walking Wake plus Koraidon if I just stall out this Trick Room, so that's the goal. And I'm pretty sure I just sack both of these Pokemon to accomplish that goal. We do get a Ivy Cudgel knockout into the Entity. Entity goes down. I get chip damage into the Cali Ice, but that's perfect. Behemoth Blade. Damage. Wait, who was their other restricted? We saw Torkoal. We know it's Torkoal, Cali Ice, Brute Bonnet. Wait, do they not have another restricted? Actually, I just realized. I don't think they had another restricted, right? Oh no, they had Miraidon. I don't think Miraidon's in the back though. I really don't. And even if it is, I can play around it. So I think this is fine. Although Bonnet coming in is kind of not the best. I mean, I always double protect here because I want to figure out speed tiers. I'm surprised no Torkoal came in, but that works. That heavily works out for me. Yeah, no. It depends on the speed of the bonnet, because if the bonnet is faster, I should be fine. Do I ever Terra? I might Terra my Zacian. Depending on high horsepower, do I think it KOs my Zacian at this range? It probably does, so I do have to watch out for that. Okay, the bonnet is faster, so that's good to know. All right. It should be high horsepower. Oh, they glacial lanced. Okay. Do I risk high horsepower knocking out? So Trickham's gonna end in like this turn. I always follow me here. I think I do go for the Terra normal, because I don't think I ever risk play rough KOing, because glacial lands at neutral shouldn't KO Zacian even single target. Like Cali Ice would be super absurd for that. I think I always go for the KO into bonnet. This even works out even if they decide, hey, I'm going to... No, this works even if they don't... If they protect bonnet. Yeah, this works even if they protect bonnet. So let's go for the Terra with Zacian. We're going to avoid the Spore here. I mean, I think this is always just... Spore. I mean, they could, I guess, KO here if they want a single target, but let's see. No, they should always attack here, actually. Yeah, Seed Bomb. We'll pick up the knockout. That's fine. All right. Yeah, they high horsepower. Beautiful. Okay, perfect. If I had to play rough, I'm in a good spot. Looks like I would have lived the high horsepower anyway. Yeah, bonnet goes down. Beautiful. All right, that means I should be able to get Walking Wake, and because we got the chip damage into Cali Ice, we should just be able to go for a Hydro Steam into the Cali Ice, pick up that knockout, and then we should be able to KO the Miraidon. Oh, it was Miraidon on the back. It wasn't Torkoal. I mean, I kind of expected it, but I mean, the game should be guaranteed secured, because unless you're Scarf Miraidon, if you're Scarf Miraidon, I guess. But I can't let Trickham go up with Cali Ice, because then I just guarantee lose. So I have to Hydro Steam and I have to play rough. Like, I have to risk them being Scarf Miraidon, and I have to risk the play rough hitting. As long as those factors work, we should be fine. Unless the Miraidon has a crazy item choice here, like Focus Sash, or what's the berry that reduces fairy damage again? Whatever that is. Or Choice Scarf. I'm hoping that this is just oh. Wait, we survived though. Wait, no, I still lose anyway. Come on, man. Are you serious, Zacian? You just had to hit that one. Well, I guess you had to hit the one on bonnet too, but come on, man. Oh, that didn't even KO Cali? I mean, if I hit the play rough into Miraidon goes down, then Cali Ice, even if it gets Trickroom, can't win the game. Yeah, especially since they click Glacial. That means I always win with Koraidon. And now I can't win because Koraidon is in against Miraidon Cali Ice. That's the kind of thing about this format, though. Hitting your moves is so important in this high base power format, where unfortunately we just missed a crucial one to lose the game. Oh, that's just how it goes sometimes, man. That's just how it goes. Okay, this is an interesting team. Dragonite, Whimsicott, Umbreon, Cresselia, Ho-Oh-Kyogre. I love Ho-Oh-Kyogre. It's very close to my heart. It was one of my favorite duos for a lot in the beginning of 2016. I don't think it likes Cornerstone Ogerpon, though. I think this team actually hates Cornerstone Ogerpon. So I am bringing Cornerstone Ogerpon, and I'm bringing Thundurus because they're both really good against this build. Yeah, like they're both really good against this build. I will bring Zacian. I will bring Koraidon because they're also really good here. I think all my team is really good against theirs. Like, I couldn't really see like a weak link here, but I do think that these are the strongest four that I can bring. Of course, my restricteds, which are also pretty good against their team. I do got to watch out for Ho-Oh, though. I do have Scale Shot at least to hit it decently with my restricteds, but otherwise I can't really hit it well. So that's going to be something I have to be fearing here. And they give me the Ho-Oh lead immediately, which is nice. So we'll be able to lead with the Thundurus Cornerstone Ogerpon. I am just going to go for a Ivy Cudgel immediately into the Whimsicott, and let's just Thunder Wave to Ho-Oh, I think. Actually, no, I would want to Wobble Storm because I don't know the whole protects or terras. I don't know. It's just such a weird matchup where I think they might have to play aggressively in Terra with the Ho-Oh immediately. I want to get rid of Whimsicott because I don't want to play around any Endeavor shenanigans like later on. They're probably going to get Tailwind. I'm fine with playing like a Thunder Wave game, setting up for a later part. So let's see. Like Ho-Oh can't really do too much here. It gets decent damage, but it's not like getting a knockout here unless it's like Band-Aid, Sacred Fire, Burn, or Crit Burn, I guess, my Ogerpon. So I should be okay here just to click Wall Bolt, Storm, and Ivy Cudgel. And if they play if they have Protect on the Ho-Oh, like I just get a huge punish here. So that's why I was like okay with this trade here. Oh, interesting. Ivy Cudgel on the Whimsicott. It's slower than my Ogerpon. Please hit this Wall Bolt Storm, because that means no speed control for their side, which is massive for me. Yeah, of course. Okay. Not the best, not the worst. Unfortunately, I will probably have to play the Endeavor game, but I'm going to go for Thunder Wave plus Ivy Cudgel because, yeah, they're going to go for Tailwind here. And, I mean, they didn't Terra, so give me that Ho-Oh. Give me that Ho-Oh. I will gladly take the Ho-Oh off your hands if you give me that opportunity. So, yes, we will get a Paralysis on the Ho-Oh. Ivy Cudgel will come out in the Ho-Oh. That is a nice, I mean, crit didn't matter, but I do get the Ho-Oh. That's massive for my team. That's massive for my restrictions in the back. Okay. This is probably Kyogre coming in. If it's Kyogre, I just click Thunder Wave into the Kyogre and I click Ivy Cudgel into the... Oh, Dragonite comes in. What? Okay. I guess for extreme speed, but that's fine. I'm just going to Ivy Cudgel to Whimsicott and Thunder Wave the Dragonite. It's like, what's Dragonite really doing here? Lumberry Dragonite's not really a thing. Whimsicott doesn't have anything that stops me here from getting this Thunder Wave off. I'm not really worried about Endeavor in this situation because if I get the Paralysis onto the Dragonite, that means my Ogerpon outspeeds and outruns, and they only get an Endeavor max against one of my Pokemon, which is like whatever here. So I don't think I mind this. They have 3 turns of Tailwind, all completely fine. No extreme speed coming out, so I do get the Thunder Wave off into Dragonite, which means I should be able to guarantee KO to Whimsicott here, assuming I lived the Moonblast. Yeah, it was Endeavor. I had a feeling. I had a feeling. Ivy Cudgel going to come out into the Whimsicott. Pick up that knockout, so again, I didn't have to worry about any Endeavor strats, and I get to paralyze whatever the last Pokemon is, which is nice. Dragon Pulse. Sure. I guess a special, special Dragonite then. I'm bringing out my Zacian here. Like, I could bring Koraidon, but it's not really necessary. Yeah, because Kyogre comes in. I'm just going to go for Protect Eerie Impulse, I think. Yeah, there's no reason to get greedy with the Thunder Wave, at least at this moment. If I could just get a Eerie Impulse into the Kyogre, protect my Zacian. And this will bait the Water Spout, but that's fine. So we will go for the Eerie Impulse. Am I ever going to Terra? I guess I might Terra to Koraidon. Zacian's never Terraing. Like, I'm debating about Terraing my Thundurus, but I don't think it's necessary. I just Eerie Impulse here. Like, I'm stalling out these Tailwind turns. I get the Eerie Impulse. Sure, I could have went Koraidon, got the Sun up guaranteed. I just was like, okay, I'm probably still protecting anyway because the Dragonite is special. That means it can actually hit my Koraidon. And yeah, like at this point, like I just can't really see what they're doing with the Kyogre. Well, they can crit my Thundurus, sure. I suppose that works. Okay, I don't know if that was... Okay, that was definitely OBS, because I was like, what is going on with my game? If you are watching, my OBS was overloading for a second, but it should be fine now. Okay. Okay, I think it's really unlikely for me to lose. Okay, strange. What's going on with OBS right now? OBS. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, what is okay. I guess I'll have to restart OBS afterward. I'm pretty sure the Kyogre is just a non-zero threat, so I think I just always double up the Dragonite with Scale Shot plus Play Rough. They go for Ice Beam, but that's not going to be enough damage. Yeah, nowhere near enough. Play Rough. It's not multi-scale. Okay, so it's inner focus. If it was multi-scale, I went for the double hit moves anyway. Like Scale Shot was probably the more important move to hit if it was multi-scale, but Play Rough does connect, KO the Dragonite and Scale Shot into the Kyogre. It doesn't matter how many hits I get realistically because I still KO the Kyogre anyway. But it looks like Koraidon, even without a loaded dice, still getting a nice 4-hitter right there. The speed boost, but yeah, like the Kyogre in Sun, no Tailwind, and -2 special attack. It's just sad for my boy, as we will go for a Collision Course and the Human Blade and guarantee to win there. So yeah, really rough matchup for them. Like Ho-Oh Kyogre is just well, Kyogre in general has always been a weird spot, and Ho-Oh, it liked my restricteds. It did not like my support mods, and I feel like that's been the struggle of Ho-Oh. Urshifu, Eternatus, Raging Bolt, Zamazenta, Incineroar, Amoonguss. Okay. Eternatus, Zamazenta is an interesting combo. Sasha's not bad. It's not amazing though. This is going to be a little bit tough, isn't it? I do like Thundurus a lot because it can slow down quite a bit with Thunder Wave and Eerie Impulse. This Leer is also pretty effective against my opponent's team. Koraidon seems pretty decent as a lead offensively. I think so. I think it's a good opener. Yeah, I think it's a good opener. I think Thundurus plus Koraidon is pretty good. I definitely bring Zacian in the back. Play Rough is really strong endgame wise. The question is, what's my final mod? Is it Walking Wake, Xianpao, or Cornerstone? They're all not terrible. Walking Wake and Draco Meteor, which is nice. Cornerstone can redirect and switch into Spore. I think I like the... that's tricky. I think I'm going to go with Wake. Because having a mod that just outspeeds Eternatus seems really nice, but we'll find out. I hope the rest of the video goes okay though, because I started recording a coding issue. I restarted my PC earlier, and I also deleted a bunch of files because my computer was getting close to the maximum filage. So it should have been fine, but I don't know what's going on right now. Incineroar Urshifu is a fine lead for me because Koraidon Thundurus is just such a good combination right here. Okay. I'm just going to go for Wall Bolt Storm, and I'm going to go for Collision Course. If they fake out close combat, assuming I hit one Wall Bolt Storm into the Urshifu, I'm in a good spot. So I will go for a Wall Bolt Storm, and I'm going to go for a Collision Course into the Incineroar. If they go for the Terra Ghost, sure, that's not like awful for me. It's annoying, but it's definitely still playable. Urshifu just can't really do too much other than close combat. We're going to see Fake Out come out into the Koraidon slot, which is fine. Surging Strikes into the Thundurus. I guess they won't damage the Thundurus because Thundurus is really annoying for their team, to be fair. But like this damage, not really doing the best right here, as we are going to be able to get a Wall Bolt Storm off. Hopefully, and land. Nice. Big damage, doesn't KO Urshifu, but still pretty good. And the paralysis, so I don't even have to Thunder Wave next turn. Very, very nice. Okay. Also, the Urshifu was faster than my Koraidon, so it's either Jolly or it's Scarf. I think my best play is just a Wall Bolt Storm, and I could Scale Shot here for a speed advantage, because it covers a Terra on the Incineroar, but I think my best play... I still think it's just a Collision Course, realistically. Even if they go for Terra Ghost, I think that's fine by me. Get a Collision Course off, no Terras. If I get rid of Incineroar, that's beautiful. Nice, we do get rid of Incineroar. Great. I don't have to worry about Wiz. That's one Pokemon that can pivot around gone. One Zacian counter removed. And we just landed on a Wall Bolt Storm, so looking very beautiful in this start of the game. Urshifu goes down, and yes, I guess we'll see double restricted come out, but... Leer's looking pretty good. Thunder Wave is looking pretty good. Yeah, just having a lot of different tools here. I think I'll go for Leer first. Leer does seem pretty good. I guess, like, who do I want to focus down first is a question. Oh, they didn't bring both restricted. Raging Bolt comes in. And that is the Eternatus. Okay, interesting. All right. So I have Leer, I have Eerie Impulse. There's a lot I could do here. Okay. I do have Zacian. I think my play here... Oh, no, not the encoding issue. Okay. Ooh, I would really like an Eerie Impulse here, I think. I think my best play, I don't tear to Zacian ever. At least I don't think so. I don't tear to Walking Wake. I could tear to Koraidon. I think my best play is just the Eerie Impulse to Raging Bolt. Go for Terra Fire. I want to Scale Shot the Eternatus. I don't think they Terra Fairy in this situation, especially because they don't know my Terras yet. Like if I was just fire and fighting moves, the Eternatus just walls me. So I'd assume that I could get an Eerie Impulse off into Raging Bolt. And then get a Scale Shot off and the Eternatus get the speed boost so I don't have to go for Thunder Wave in future turns. We get the Eerie Impulse off into the Eternatus or into the Raging Bolt, which is nice. Scale Shot, that Eternatus is super slow. That's a slow Eternatus. Wow. Scale Shot, if we hit 3 times, we hit 3 times. All right, 4. Man, who needs loaded dice? Who needs loaded dice if you're just that goated? It could just hit every 4 or 5 hitter. Beautiful. All right, awesome. Goodbye, Eternatus. Amazing. And that Raging Bolt is -2 special attack. We got +1 speed. Dragon Pulse gonna come out of Thundurus, but yeah, I'm assuming it's just like a really bulky stall Eternatus. I've been seeing a few teams that do have like the stall Eternatus set, so they have like no speed investment, which I don't know. I think an offensive Eternatus could be good in this format as well, but yeah, definitely not gonna complain. I'm gonna go for Leer and I'm gonna go for Flare Blitz in case they go for a Terra. Well, gonna be forfeited. I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point. I got the -2 special attack, so they can't really do much. Zacian's looking really good in the back. Walking Wake's looking pretty good in the back to force Terras. And yeah, like if they Terra, they just fall into a trap where they just go down, and if they don't Terra, they're still taking a bunch of damage regardless. So they would have needed a lot of luck in order to win that one, but that is not going to happen. Whimsicott, Calyx, Ice Rider with Miraidon, Chi-Yu, Urshifu, and Farigiraf. I am really hoping that my PC can make it through the end of this video. Like, I really am hoping so. All right. What do I want to go against this team? So Miraidon plus the Calyx Ice Rider. They have Farigiraf, which means I can't go for Eerie Impulse, which really stinks here. I would love to, but unfortunately cannot. I'm also Adamant Chien Pao, which actually really stinks here. I think my best combination is I think Zacian is always broad here. Zacian, maybe Cornerstone Ogerpon is probably my best lead because it kind of covers a lot of the basis, I think, across the board of damage output. I think in the back, I would want the Koraidon. The last Pokemon is either Wake or Thundurus. I think I'm going to go Wake here in case Water Urshifu and Chi-Yu become a problem with switching to Heat Wave and Surging Strikes, but let's see, because this is not an easy one. I would have also really loved Thundurus so I could go for Eerie Impulse, but I cannot. So we'll find out what the combination is for my opponent. I assume that Miraidon and Calyx are going to be brought. I don't know what the other two would be. Chi-Yu, Whimsicott, okay. As I lead the Cornerstone, Ogerpon, and the Zacian. All right, so not the best start. It really depends on the Whimsicott speed tier. There are some things that I could go for that are interesting, though. I imagine this is Heat Wave and Moonblast in the Cornerstone Ogerpon. I think my best play is just to go for Protect with Zacian, and I think it's go for Terra Rock Ivy Cudgel. Maybe this is not the right play. I don't want to Terra the Zacian because if I take a Heat Wave, I'm probably putting Miraidon Dazzling Gleam range, so I don't think that changes anything. I don't know which one's Focus Sash between Whimsicott and Chi-Yu, which is pretty important. I'm pretty sure with the Terra Rock, I can live a Moonblast plus an Ivy Cudgel. But we're going to see a Terra here from my opponent. This might be the Chi-Yu? No, it's Whimsicott. Okay. So we confirmed that the Whimsicott's Terra Electric. What? What? Okay. So reveal Terra Electric Whimsicott. I don't know why it's Terra Electric, but sure. I'm gonna go for my Terra Rock with my Ogerpon because I'm trying to live a Moonblast Heatwave combination. I don't know if I'll live with the Beats of Ruin, but we'll find out. It is max speed on the Whimsicott because it outsped my Ogerpon. So let's go for this Ivy Cudgel and protect the Zacian because I am not gonna take a Heat Wave. So let's see. They do go for the Heat Wave. We confirm it's Scarf Chiyu. Yep, exactly what I anticipated. And it looks like Whimsicott did fire off a Moonblast. I do resist the Heat Wave. Still take a lot of damage, but should be good. Moonblast is going to come out, and yeah, I do tank it thanks to the Terra, and I go for the Ivy Cudgel. So that is a massive turn because we confirmed our Terra on the Whimsicott, and I'm able to knock out the Chiyu. So Chiyu goes down. Incredible start to the game because getting rid of Chiyu means I can actually switch into Heat Waves, which is actually pretty crucial. But more importantly, I'm in a good spot with my team as we see Urshifu come in. Realistically, it's not near over. I feel like this is always Moonblast into the Ogerpon and go for Surging Strikes into Zacian. I think my best play is just to play rough the Urshifu and swap into Koraidon. You might be thinking, James, you're going to switch in Koraidon and Moonblast. I think it actually works out well because if I KO the Urshifu here, I'm in a good spot. And even if I don't KO the Urshifu, I think this is also still a good spot anyway. Since I get in Koraidon for the Sun. Oh, wait, they probably Tailwind here, actually. The Tailwind's fine, too. Yeah, no, Tailwind's fine. Okay. Because if this is Tailwind Surging, like, I still get Play Rough. I didn't think they would Encore in that situation because of Follow Me. For sure, they go for Close Combat into Koraidon, which is actually really good for me. So yeah, that's actually pretty nice because I do get a Play Rough into the Urshifu, bring it down to Focus Sash. Beautiful. So the Whimsicott can't have Focus Sash. I'm pretty sure I could always double up the Whimsicott, assuming it doesn't have Protect and be in a really good spot. Or no, I would take the knockout into Urshifu and I would Flare Blitz the Whimsicott. Yeah, no, that's fine. Because they're going to Moonblast KO my Koraidon, which is fine. But now the thing is the Miraidon, unless it's Calyx Ice Rider in the back, where then I guess it could be a little bit spooky. But even then, I think I'm fine. Close Combat going to come out, but it's Focus Sash, so this should only do a little bit over half. I did do a little bit more than I was anticipating. A little bit more than I was anticipating, but it's still fine. Because I get the Behemoth Blade, I KO the Urshifu. And now I think I'm in a good pin situation where I should be able to go for a Play Rough into Miraidon, which I assume is the last Pokemon, and be in a good spot. So let's go out into our Cornerstone Ogerpon here, as this should always be Miraidon. Yep. Could I lose to Whimsicott? There is a maybe. There's not like a non-zero chance I could lose to... Oh, wait. Actually, I take a lot more damage than I expected. Hold on. Did I lose to Gleam here? Oh, I might lose to Gleam Moonblast. I think I do lose to Gleam Moonblast, actually. I'm taking too much, aren't I? Did I have to Play Rough before? I thought out like... I didn't think I was taking that much from Close Combat, but I'm used to bulky Zacian taking the hits, so this actually might end up hurting. I guess we just double Protect here. Ah, that's not great. Wait, it's Protect Miraidon. Oh, that means I don't think you'd have Gleam then. Wait, that's big for me, actually. Because I went for double Protect to Scout for what Miraidon was going to lock into, but now it's Protect, which makes sense because they were fearing Play Rough. They wanted to get rid of my Redirection. But now if Miraidon doesn't have Dazzling Gleam or Discharge, I'm in a good spot because I can go for Play Rough into Miraidon and click Follow Me. They would have to go for a double Protect and get the double Protect, so I think the odds are in my favor. I go for the Play Rough anyway. All right. No, that actually works out really well. I just need to Play Rough. Assuming this is non-Dazzling Gleam, but we'll see. Go for the Follow Me here. Also, the Dazzling Gleam, we'll see. Oh, they went for Encore. They were hoping I was not going to Follow Me. Okay, that should ensure a win, unless it's, again, Discharge or Parabolic Charge. No, it's Electric Drift. Why are you Terra Electric Whimsicott? Electric Drift comes out into the Ogerpon. We know it can't be Focus Sash on the Miraidon because the Urshifu revealed Focus Sash. This is still +1 Play Rough from a Zacian. Oh, it's Life for Miraidon. Okay. Nice. And that secures the win. That 100% secures the win because all I have to do is click Play Rough into Hydro Steam. Yeah, about they knew. I mean, there was a good reason why I didn't Follow Me the previous turn. I knew I had to play around Scarf Chiyu, which was very likely, plus the Whimsicott, the Moonblast, plus I thought Heat Wave was pretty obvious. You don't really see Cornerstone Ogerpon Terra that often, but it was like a good way to get around that turn one. I did kind of misplay because if it was choice specs on the Miraidon, the Dazzling Gleam could have actually been really threatening, especially with walking Awaken back. But yeah, maybe I shouldn't have brought Wake then. Maybe I need Thundurus instead, because I think Thundurus, if it's just Eerie Impulses, then I guarantee to win there. But it's just so tough to cover like for every option. In a close combat again, did a bit more damage to Zacian than I thought. Maybe because again, I'm used to running bulky Zacian and taking close combat calcs, but that one definitely hurt my Zacian. Did a bit more than expected. Gleam Moonblast would have been pretty scary to deal with, but luckily did not have to deal with that. All right, let's go over to games. In game one, it was beautiful. I didn't really think the Volcarona was going to be protecting, but it did protect Fear in the Ivy Cudgel. I was able to knock out the Raging Bolt, get that speed booster. Then I was able to get the KO into the Volcarona, get a big Ivy Cudgel off into Zacian along with a critical hit. And then things were just going my way, especially with the Scale Shot getting the knockout into Koraidon. But I basically was in a position where I was just able to get KOs pretty much every single turn, which was amazing. In game two, man, I went for the Eerie Impulse and the Calyx. Did not feel good. It made me have to play around specifically, but the fact that I was able to get the Thunder Wave off and the Scream Tail was pretty massive. The KO into the Incineroar utilizing the Leer Behemoth Blade was incredible. And then once I got into Walking Wake for a nice position to KO the Calyx Shadow Rider without taking too much damage was really nice. And then Leer Thundurus was able to do the thing and prevent the Zamazenta from doing that much damage thanks to dropping its defenses. In game three, I felt like I just got the first couple turns right, where I was able to get a lot of damage across my opponent while really reducing what the Lunala could do damage wise. The Groudon ended up being a little bit scary in the end game. However, I still think the Terra Water Walking Wake was still really good to clean it up, especially because they let their Ogerpon go down so they couldn't go for Follow Me, which ended up really helping out because I was able to deny Trick Room and the Groudon was left alone. In game four, I felt like I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted to do here. I was able to get a nice substitute up, the fact that I was able to get a lot of damage and force the Terras while stalling out the Trick Room turns. But unfortunately, the end game did come down to does Zacian hit the Play Rough into Miraidon. And sometimes in this format, you can't afford to miss your powerful attack, especially the one that will one-shot the restricted, which did cost me the game. In game five, Ho-Oh Kyogre, but I feel like this matchup was just really bad for my opponent. I was able to capitalize well. Unfortunately, I did miss the Wall Bolt Storm to KO the Whimsicott, which would have been fantastic, but it gave me the Ho turn two. And overall, I was just able to apply way more offensive pressure while not really losing many of my resources. And then endgame wise, I felt like I had a really good endgame for my restrictors to clean up. In game six, it turned into Zamazenta, so I wasn't sure this was going to be a stall Zamazenta or not. I thought it would be like maybe more offensive, potentially with like Meteor Beam or maybe even a Life Orb. But overall, I felt the lead was perfect for me. I was able to do a lot of damage utilizing the Wall Bolt Storm as well as the Collision Course. They just let me get the knockouts, and then it was Raging Bolt plus the Eternatus in the back. And then yeah, I'm kind of surprised they didn't just try to get in Raging Bolt for their Shifu, but instead I was just able to get really quick knockouts and then set up for an end game, especially with the Scale Shot knocking out the Eternatus in one shot was fantastic. In game seven, definitely a bit of a tricky one, but I felt like it was pretty good, especially with the Terra Rock turn one KOing the Chiyu and avoiding the Heat Wave and Moonblast double up combination. I was a little bit scared though because the Urshifu in the back was a little bit tough. Maybe I should have went for the Play Rough and the Whimsicott, but I don't think I really want to play around Urshifu still having a Sash next to Miraidon, so I'm not exactly too sure. I took a lot more damage from close combat than I was really anticipating, so that ended up being a bit tricky because that meant Dazzling Gleam Moonblast would have been scary if it was Choice Specs Miraidon, but hey, it wasn't Choice Specs Miraidon, so I was actually just able to go for a Follow Me Play Rough. They didn't go for the Double Protect, was able to KO Miraidon and then clean the game against the Whimsicott in the end. There are a lot of restricted combos we'll be using for Regulation I, but overall this combo I felt like was really nice. I love Thundurus. Leer Thundurus I felt like was really good, especially into the Zamazenta team. It just felt nice in general with the team, and also like very fast mons, very good damage output, was able to still tank attacks thanks to Snarl, the Eerie Impulse, and just having some bulk on the Koraidon and Zacian just being naturally good tank because it's good offensively and good defensively and speed wise. Like, what can this Pokemon not do except when it got nerfed and then missed out on 20 attack, as well as the able to just have multiple attack rotations from its ability. But it is still pretty good. And I felt like the team, yeah, it is really strong with how much damage output you can utilize. If you'd like to check out the team, you could try it out with the rental code on your screen. Hopefully it's still available by the time the video comes out. If you'd like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.